Hello, Gabby here for you. I hope this finds you well. I am recording this after a wonderful weekend celebrating my birthday. I was 62 last week and I've had a wonderful birthday. I'm so grateful for the people around me who have showered me with love and affection. I've had so many lovely gifts and cards and messages, flowers. My house smells lovely. It's full of flowers at the minute and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm very grateful to still be here at this grand old age of 62, but also grateful for the lessons that I've learned in my life and the people that I am surrounded with. I really want to reflect on this because I've had a few people reaching out to me who are struggling with where they are in life. One of them was a very difficult relationship breakup. Some of them are related to health. I'm a cancer recovery coach, and somebody has reached out to me and said, I'm really struggling. I've reached the end of my treatment. I didn't expect to feel like this. And I'm really grieving for the person that I used to be before. I can so relate to this because that's exactly how I felt when I finished my cancer treatment. I wasn't prepared for that at all. It took me quite a while to work through that and to move forward, but I have done. And that's why I do the work that I do now. That's why I've got this podcast, so I can share my experience and hopefully help other people. So I'm going to give you some tips here. If you are at that point where you think, I just can't move on, it feels like everything is going to pot. The world that we live in at the minute is so chaotic and crazy. And if you listen to the news, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. But I've learned to focus on what I can control, my thoughts and my reaction to what's going on. So I'm going to give you some tips for things that have helped me and my coaching clients when they've reached a point where actually they're feeling, I just can't see a way forward. And I'm going to repeat myself here because I talk about this all the time, and I'm going to start with self-care. What does that mean? It means really nurturing and loving yourself, which a lot of people struggle with. Some people don't even like themselves, but I've really learned to love and accept myself for all my flaws. I'm not saying I'm perfect, far from it. And I've made plenty of mistakes, but I am proud of the way that I've handled them and moved forward and the way that I've learned from the mistakes that I've made. So first of all, I would talk to you about self-care and what that does that mean. And it can mean, getting some early nights. It can mean having a bubble bath and lighting a candle. But to me, it's much, much more than that. It's about the way that you talk to yourself. We all have that nagging little voice that sometimes can be our own worst critics. And I have learned to train that little voice and turn it into somebody who supports, understands, and uplifts me, not constantly nagging and criticizing. If your little voice is telling you that you're always messing up or things are never going to get better, that's not your truth, And sometimes people talk about meditation as being a really good thing to do because it quietens that little voice and it stops that little voice that may be so critical. It starts to let you hear what is your truth. What is your heart telling you? Because that critical little voice that says everything is rubbish, nothing's going to be the same again. Oh, you're never going to have your health back. Or you're never going to be young again. That's not the truth. That is fear and doubt. And you're allowing those voices to be louder than your true voice. Your true voice is full of love and compassion. If you start to listen to it, and that starts with self-care. If you're struggling with the way you talk to yourself, if you find it easier to criticize yourself, as a lot of people do, looking for the negative, looking for the things that you've done right instead of the things that you've done wrong, start with that, because we've all done a lot of stuff wrong. We've also done a lot of stuff right, and start remembering that. I've just read a wonderful book by a friend of mine, and I'm going to do another podcast about this book in full. And might try and interview this lovely lady as well. And one of the top tips that I took from her book, and she's come from a lot of struggles in her life and overcome them in a very wonderful way that I'll share with you. But one of the top tips she got for learning to reframe where she was and stop focusing on the negative was she has a list in her phone of 25 things that she's proud of. And this is not about being arrogant and big-headed. I've said this about before in my podcast. It's learning to accept the good things about you and be proud of them. Praise yourself and love yourself for the good things you've done. You might think, well, I can't really think of 25 things that I've done that I'm proud of. And again, I would invite you, if you've got a lovely journal, as I have, and my friend sent me a lovely journal for my birthday, just to sit and think about that for 5 minutes. Can you think of 25 things about you that you are proud of, things that you've achieved, maybe, things in your character? You might be very loving, very kind, very generous, a good listener. These are things that you can be proud of because not everybody has those qualities. What have you gained in your life? Have you got wisdom? I certainly feel that I've made mistakes and I've learned from them. And sometimes there is a train of thought that says if you don't learn from your mistakes, you will carry on making them until you learn the lesson that you need to learn. And I do try and reflect when I've made a mistake and think back and what could I have done differently. Not to beat myself, not to live in regret. We can't change the past, but we can learn from it and move forward. Are you proud of your resilience? A lot of women that I know that are my age are so resilient and take that for granted, the fact that they will overcome challenges, they will help other people, and then will just keep on going. You know, that experience that you've got, you don't get to live to a good age and not have a lot of experience. Some good, some bad, I'm sure. Nobody gets, unfortunately, all good experiences. And as much as I say, you know, I'm here to share the good experiences in my life, you know, I'm not happy-go-lucky 24/7. And in the past, I've been prone to depression, but I've learned now a lot of tips and techniques through my coaching work that helps me not to stay in that place. Yes, I get sad sometimes. Yes, I get depressed sometimes, but I don't stay there very long because I know how to get out of that place. One of the best things you can do is be very kind to yourself, and that's what self-care is. Also focus on being grateful for everything you've got in your life. I've spoken to a good friend who's fostering children, and she is doing gratitude with the children, ending your day with to think about 10 things that you're grateful for. Have you got a roof over your head? Have you got food in your fridge? Are you at peace? Just for today, are you in a good place? You may have challenges going on around you, but for today, can you have a good night's sleep? What are the things that you're grateful for today? Could just be simple as I've had a lovely cup of coffee, or I've had a lovely phone call with my friend. What are you grateful for today? Focus on them. And you can train your mind. Sometimes we think, oh, well, I can't help it. I hear people say, that's just the way I am. Now, that's fine if that's how you want to live. But actually, if you want to make some changes, how about thinking about the fact that you are the only person who's in control of you? You can change the way that you think, because I've learned to do this and other people have as well. I really want to go back over that point, the fact that your inner voice, if it's very critical and it's very negative, that is not your truth. I would invite you, either by journaling or sitting and meditating and thinking about this, what is your truth? What are you here to do? What is your purpose on the planet? You know, big questions those, I know they are. But actually, you're not here. You weren't put here to worry, to be unhappy, not to be loved. And it starts by loving yourself. So in my birthday week, I want to say thank you to everybody who sent me birthday wishes, birthday messages. The gifts and love that I've received has been so wonderful. I want to thank you, my listeners, as well on my podcast. Podcast has really helped me to put a lot of things in place that have happened to me, and a lot of the lessons that I've learned. It helps me to reflect, and I'm so grateful for everybody who's left me a review, everybody that shared this podcast. And if you could do that for me, if you can leave me a review or let me know anything that you'd like me to talk about on another podcast, I'd be really grateful for that as well. As always, I urge you to stay safe and stay sane. Have a wonderful week, my darling. Thank you so much for listening. It means the world to me. Take care. Bye-bye.